as the cartels.
Oh.
Who are the cartels in this case?
I defined them at the debate. I think Kenyans now know who they are. Kenyans know who they are. In this race, there are three.
In this race?
They are fat ones.
Are you saying cartels are in the race to become...
For the gubernatorial race, yes. Kidero is a big cartel. He's the dean. And Peter Kenneth is a senior dean because he started stealing public resources before Kidero. And then Sonko is a very primitive one.
But they're all deans.
Yes. Because you see, Sonko was trying to tell Kenyans that the only reason I was able to decapitate him is because I went to good schools, because I came from a rich background. But in fact, out of the four candidates, I'm the one who came from the most humble background. I grew up as an orphan. My father died before I was born, when my mother was pregnant. My mother was completely literate and was a peasant, very poor in the village. And I only managed to go to school because I was doing well, not because I had money. I went to the worst schools compared to them. I went to a Pondo Primary School, where even up to now, children learn in muddy structures. Then I went to Njeko Secondary School, which is even up to now one of the poorest secondary schools. This man, his father, Sonko for example, his father was the registrar of lands in Kwale when I was going to a Pondo Primary School. He grew up privileged. The fact that you couldn't learn, the fact that you are intellectually incapacitated, does not mean that you grew up poor. So he wants justification for why he failed. Peter Kenneth went to the best school, really, in Kenya, Starehe. He still flopped completely. And I'm not saying that getting A's qualifies you for leadership. What I'm saying is I want a merit-based society where if you are good in mechanic, you become a good mechanic and you earn a living as a mechanic. If you are good as a driver, you earn a living as a driver. If you are good as a teacher, you earn a living as a teacher. If you're good as a professor, the same. If you have vision and you have characteristics of leadership, you become a leader. In Kenya now, leaders are supposedly chosen on the basis of how much they have stolen from the very public they purport to be wanting to represent and lead. So people who have grabbed public land, people who have bankrupted going concerns, public institutions like Mumias, like Kenya Reinsurance Corporation, like Sonko who was jailed. These are the people now, because they have money, they are saying, now we are leaders. I'm saying no. A poor kid that has no money but have the qualities of leadership, or has the qualities of leadership, is as qualified as any other. And that is why I'm there.
All right. That's Miguna Miguna for you, my brother. Tuko mbele pamoja, hili ni bunge la maisha. Talk to us on Twitter, #Alex Nanik. And after the debate, guys were picking some of the things that kila candidate alikuwa anasema.
Correct.
And one of the things that ulisema pale was about unemployment.
Yes.
Ambapo ulikuwa unasema pale kwamba there are 700,000 people employed by the government.
Yes.
At both national and county levels.
Yes.
1.4 million employed by the private sector, and another 2.3 million employed in the informal sector.
Yes.
Later on, after research hapa na pale, nasemekana that your figures, Miguna, were not correct.
No, you see, when people say research hapa na pale, research hapa na pale na who?
No, government records.
No, it's not government records. First of all, I saw the article that was purported to be responding to me. I'll tell you what is wrong with the article.
All right.
Number one, it is written by someone who does not want to disclose who he is. He calls himself somebody Sunday. Such a person does not exist in Kenya, number one.
All right.
So if you're going to write an article trying to respond to my figures,
all right,
write your full name so that I can know who I'm dealing with.
All right.
Don't hide
all right.
under nom de plume.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, They purport to be responding to my figures by using 2016 figures. My figures are 2017 figures. So, and they are purporting to be responding using a department that does not exist, according to the newspaper article.
All right.
So respond using correct information. So if you tell me you got it from the Ministry of National Planning, such a ministry does not exist. So tell me where you got your figures from. But at the end of the day, this is the issue.
All right.
If you are saying that the unemployed is 798,000 and I said 700,000, that is silly because it is the same thing, 700,000. Whether it is 700,050 or 700,002, the fact is it is 700,000 are employed by the national and the county government. Now, if you're saying that the Juakali sector has employed more than what I said, so again, my point is this: is Juakali gainful employment? It is not. The people who are in the Juakali sector are there because they could not get gainful employment. And by gainful employment, I don't mean white-collar jobs. I mean a well-paying job, whichever job it is, that is not back-breaking, but for which you can actually plan for your future. You can't plan for your future when you're on Jogo Road trying to make tins or trying to make cups from tins. You can't. You can't plan. Do you understand?
All right.
Then there is no statistics of how many people are in the Juakali sector. At the end of the day, unemployment figure, whether you say it is 50, it is 69, or it is 75, that is still too high. Globally, in most well-managed societies, unemployment is not more than 10%. So this man is quibbling, if he exists, with figures that still confirm what I'm saying, that the unemployment is unsustainable in Kenya. Is there any normal person that will tell you that unemployment, the rate of unemployment in Kenya, is good, is fair, is satisfactory, when every single graduate I meet is unemployed, when everybody who has gone to college is unemployed, when everybody who has finished high school is a mamamboga? Have you seen a society that calls a Form 4 graduate a mamamboga? These are not illiterate people. These are well-educated people. Somebody who has gone to Form 4 is not a fool. These are really, really well-educated people. Tom Mboya, the late, a genius of his time, only finished Form 2. Was the most articulate politician in the entire African continent, was the most charismatic, was the most visionary. Now, a primitive fool comes and says, because he went to bad schools, he cannot speak. Tom Mboya went to Kilimambogo. He went to school in a sisal plantation plant, was one of the best. So what my point is this.
All right.
The person, the nom de plume, the coward that is hiding under a fake name, who wants to say that my figures were wrong. Number one, they were not my figures. I used statistics from the devolution ministry that were presented this year. They purport to be using 2016 figures. So of course, the figures would be different if this person exists and if he's actually using figures. But at the end of the day, what is the substantive message that he's passing? Nothing. He's confirming what I'm saying. He's saying unemployment is so high. That's exactly what Miguna is saying. And I'm saying I'm going to make sure that I reduce it to a sustainable rate. I'm going to hire these young people. And I'm not going to hire them like the cartels who are saying they are going to make the youth wash cars. I want the youth earn as much as we are earning so that they have a future, so that they can plan, so that they can be prosperous. They're the most productive sector of society.
And how are you going to do that? Be good.
Because I have a manifesto that these people don't have. A manifesto that promises and that undertakes to build incubation centers that will teach these young people skills that are applicable in job environments. That is lacking. We don't have technical institutions, for example. They are all turned into universities. Yet that is where most skills, for work skills, are learned. 2, I am going to create employment through the infrastructural policies and programs that I've unveiled. When a subway system is constructed, do you know how many people will be employed there? Hundreds of thousands. During the construction, its operation. How about a light rail? Hundreds of thousands of jobs. This is where the young people will be going. When I unveil the solid waste management system, an integrated modern solid waste management system, from the construction to its implementation, hundreds of thousands of jobs. When I am building modern, humane housing for the poor that will now replace the slums, from construction to its operation and then, of course, maintenance, hundreds of thousands of jobs and skills that are transferable. When I say that I am going to bring water to everybody, every home, running water, that's hundreds of thousands of jobs. So I'm not just speaking, I am talking about concrete things that will create jobs, high earning jobs for the youth, for the men and women of this city.
All right.
These are very visionary ideas. What has stopped the others from implementing them? Is it the cartels that you're talking about, or is it just lack of visionary leadership? Or how do you plan to go about it? Because all these things are very nice on paper.
Yeah, I'll tell you, well, they don't even have that on paper. You see, you start there. If you can't even conceptualize of these ideas, because it has to start in the mind, is this person capable of coming out with programs that can change our lives? And you have seen when I debated them, and even since then, these people have been in leadership. Peter Kenneth was a member of parliament for 10 years. So he knows what I'm talking about. He has not come up with one piece of paper. Kidero has been a governor for 5 years. He has not come up with one piece of paper. Sonko has been a member of parliament and now a senator for the last 10 years. Not one piece of paper. So ask them, why would we trust you to do anything when you cannot even sit down and give us one piece of paper where you list what you're going to do? Miguna, who does not hold public office, who is a private citizen, has come up with a comprehensive, concrete manifesto that lists specific concrete programs and how he's going to do it. So, to answer your question,
yes,
because they are feathering their pockets. These people are feeding their tummies. They are stealing public funds, and they intend to continue stealing. And by the way,
yes,
they have confessed to that. Sonko on the 7th of May, you all watched when he was being interviewed by Hussein Mohammed on Citizen TV. He said, I'm a big thief. And Kidero and PK are big thieves like me. He didn't say Miguna. He knows these fellow thieves. So number one, he said it. 2, he has gone to jail for stealing. He stole public land in Mombasa. He was jailed. He escaped from prison. So this is a self-confessed thief, and the records are there. Then when you look at Kidero,
yes,
the same thing. He's building 2 huge, the tallest buildings in Nairobi now are
yes,
being constructed by Kidero in the last 2 years. One is on the 4th Avenue, just next to Ngong Road, and the other one is in the CBD. And he's doing it in the last 3 years. These are multi-billion shilling constructions. He has 36 properties in the CBD. He has 183 parcels he has acquired since he became governor. These are public land worth hundreds of billions. So when I say the man is a thief, the reason why he cannot go to court when he rushed to court to sue Kalwale is because he knows I'm not Kalwale. He knows that if you make a mistake of taking me to court, you will not live there alive. You'll be taken to the emergency department and you will have a heart attack.
So, which brings us to a small issue, eh? Because I've realized after the show,
yes,
there's visionary leaders.
Yes.
Kama Ikuru Okota alikuwa hapa last week.
Yes.
Pia kuna very big, nice ideas.
Yes.
Wewe pia uko hapa.
Yes.
So, it bottles down to the electorate,
yes,
or the voters.
Yes.
When they come, it's them who have the problem, or how is it that all the people with the nice ideas are not being given a chance.
No, but I don't want you to compare me to anybody else.
I'm not
because
comparing.
my history is different from all the others.
Yes.
All right.
Unlike all the others, I want you to see this as a very different person and campaign.
Yes.
I started this as a youth in 1987. I was a student leader at the University of Nairobi in 1987. I fought for the same ideals that I'm fighting for now. I've been consistent for more than 30 years. I continued fighting for the multi-party democracy. I continued fighting for the small person. I continued fighting for egalitarianism in Kenya. Since 1987, I went into exile. I could have, like most Kenyans, once they go abroad, I could have forgotten about Kenya and cared only about myself and my family. But did I do that? No, I didn't. I continued to fight for Kenya's liberation, the second liberation. Then I practiced law. I could have sat there, became comfortable because I had a house, I had a nice law firm, I had a young family. I could have just said, this is it. I'm in the first world. Everything works. No, Miguna came back in 2007. Miguna was in the trenches. You saw I challenged Kivuitu when we were at the KICC over the mangling of the 2007 elections. I stood out. I spoke my bit. I did my bit. I went to the Prime Minister's office as his chief advisor and strategist. I stayed there for 3 years. You never had a complaint that Miguna stole anything. Miguna stayed clean, even though around me, everybody became a billionaire. Then, what did I do after that? I wrote 2 books. Then, I went back to the practice of law. You did not hear Miguna joined this party, that one, Miguna was doing this, or Miguna started becoming an entrepreneur. And I could have. I knew everybody at every level. I could have betrayed my conscience for material, possessions. I did not do that. So what I'm saying is that, unlike the others who have no background, who have no history of struggle, who have never stood up for this country, ask them. Kidero is older than me. Peter Kenneth is my age mate. Sonko is slightly younger than me. Ask them. For all these years, when have you stood up for Kenyans? Did they stand up during the second liberation? No. Did you stand up during the constitutional review? No. Did you stand up against human rights violations? For example, extrajudicial killings? No. Have you stood up even recently as the controversies over corruption and everything else was going on? No. Miguna is the only one who has done that. So you must judge leaders based on their record.
All right. Baroness Mary katika Twitter pale anakubaliana na Miguna anasema Miguna is talking some real sense here. All right. Alafu Kapcherui.t pia katika Twitter pale anasema but manifestos ziko lakini mara nyingi zinakuwa tu ni maneno yamewekwa katika pieces of papers but nothing really happens after manifesto. Well, maoni yake hayo. Talk to us katika Twitter. Ni Alex na Nick. Maoni yako ni gani? Tuko katika bunge la maisha na tuko na mwaniaji wa kiti cha ugavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi, Miguna. Tunarejea katika muda mfupi ujao, usiondoke.